Let's have an honest conversation, okay? Because one of the things that has been going viral for the past 2 weeks, and it's about to start dying down. I don't care, but I do want to speak on it. Now, I know, if you don't know, I have All Dressed Up Podcasts, ADU Podcasts, and YouTube. I do it every other Sunday. We're about to go and have one this Sunday. And when that first dropped, right, one of the things that we talked about Will and Jada, because she dropped a bomb saying that her and Will hadn't been together since 2016. They've been separated. And so I hopped on the bandwagon. I said, like everybody else, Jada's a narcissist, toxic, all this, that. Or Will could be toxic. Will could be a narcissist because they're keeping each other in a relationship that neither of them want to be in. Right. And that's all a snap judgment. When it really boils down to it, it's a snap judgment to a small chasm into what they're talking about. Right. So it's been an absolute roller coaster fodder. For the internet to take shots at Jada Pinkett Smith, formerly of Red Table Talk, and our beloved Willard Smith. During the interview, while introducing her new book, Jada laid what was a bombshell, again, like she said, that her and Will have been separated since 2016. That, my friend, is what blew up the internet. More and more of us, and that includes me, look back at those infamous Red Table Talk episodes where Pitiful Will meme was born, right? The Oscar slap and everything else in between, right? And wonder, is she really that evil? Narcissist, toxic, emasculating, vindictive, opportunistic, virtually every adjective you can imagine led all the talking points. All stages, big and small, including my little platform there. So, but one of the things I did is I took it upon myself to really, mind you, after I joined in to the fray, like everybody else, to dig a little deeper, right, into what she was talking about, what she was really trying to convey in her conversation. I started to look at how both of them were taking it, this revelation being exposed into the media, right? And that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. They decided to make a decision within their relationship and kept it to themselves. Because one of the main things she says is, we decided to keep this to ourselves because we didn't feel like people needed to know what we were doing. All while staying true to their vows and each other on working it out, not giving up and refusing really to call it quits. When you're talking about you're being in that type of atmosphere, you are on that level, echelon of fame and fortune and celebrity status, it's so much easier for you to go and say, okay, let me cash out, bro. Let me just cash out, do my own thing. I don't need to stay here. There's plenty of other opportunities for me. And let me move on. And everybody, the first thing they thought, Jada didn't want to let him go, or Will didn't want to let her go because they didn't want to see them with anybody else, or they guilt tripped them into stuff. And I can understand that because there were certain stories that were told on Red Table Talk that made both of them at some point look toxic, look narcissistic, or look almost, emasculating. So I started looking at my own relationship. It's like, there's been plenty of times where I've been toxic. There's been plenty of times where I've shown I can be narcissistic, but that doesn't define who I really am, or that doesn't define our relationship. So, like I said, in a time like today where it's easier to quit, so many variables that pull you in so many directions, outside influences, opinions, and the like, will tell you which decision to make, and they chose to deal with their issues in their own way and kept pushing. I know what you're going to say, right? I know what you're going to say. Like I said, is that just more of a toxic way for them just to let go? The truth of the matter is, when we talk about marriage and relationships, no two marriages will look the same. Your idea and my idea of what it should be are different. I can see, from everything I said, you're already saying, yeah, so what? And that's exactly my point, right? If you take just 2 steps back and view it from a different perspective, they're one of Hollywood's power couples. An example in the Black community of all things positive. You can say up until now, you can say whatever, but it's just what it is. And to still be together after almost 30 years, they don't take that for granted. Could have played a factor in their choices, big or small, but more so than anything else, they chose this moment to be vulnerable, right? To bear out all the things you never learned about probably in your parents' marriage, or people may never know about your marriage or your relationship. The hard times, wild thoughts, the decisions, regrets, and vicious moments that are a culmination of what relationships truly are. It's not right or wrong. No one person is at fault more than the other when you talk about it, because it's their story, it's your story. Same thing when you're in your own relationship. You're gonna believe what you believe, and sometimes we don't take the minute time to really step back and look at the other person's perspective and look at ourselves and see what we could be doing wrong or what we could be saying wrong. And I get it. I get it. 6 years, 7 years, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years. There's a lot of time in between. A lot of in between time. But the mere fact that you still have that in between time and still have decided not to say I quit, just tells me a little bit further that you still love that person. You're still willing to keep working at it, regardless of what it looks like. Are we going to allow the infamous Chris Rock slap define his career? No. Are we going to define their marriage overall? Absolutely not. They could keep this thing rolling for another 10 or 15 years. And regardless of how we feel about it, it's what matters really the most is how they feel about it and how you feel about it with the person that you're with, right? I can speak from a standpoint from being married for going on 17 years, saying that, look, it's not, the game ain't easy. And if it was, everybody be doing it. Everybody say they want this work, but when they really get it, it's two different things, right? It's not my place to convince you. I'm only here having this conversation to offer a different perspective that you may not have seen. Follow me for more cooking advice if you understand that. But